38% global market share, $40 billion in annual revenue, market capitalization of $114.51 billion, 75,000 employees worldwide. These numbers alone can't capture the greatness of Nike, the largest sportswear empire in the world. How did a college student start a billion-dollar brand from scratch? Can Nike continue to grow even further? All that and more in today's video. Nike's story begins with a personal journey. When Phil Knight, a fresh graduate from the University of Oregon, was searching for direction in his life. It was 1962, and Knight had just completed his MBA at Stanford University. During his business studies, he wrote a paper that predicted Japanese products could shake up the American market, similar to how Japanese cameras had overtaken German cameras globally. In this paper, Knight proposed that Japanese-made athletic shoes could compete with German brands like Adidas and Puma, which dominated the market. But this idea wasn't just theoretical. Knight decided to turn it into reality. After graduating, he embarked on a trip around the world, and during his journey, he visited Japan. In the city of Kobe, he encountered the Onitsuka Tiger Company, now known as ASICS, and was captivated by the quality and design of their products. The Tiger shoes had excellent craftsmanship and were significantly cheaper than Adidas or Puma. Despite having no experience in importing or business, Knight boldly requested a meeting with Onitsuka. During the meeting, he successfully convinced the company to let him distribute their shoes in the U.S. When asked which company he represented, Knight spontaneously came up with the name Blue Ribbon Sports, stating that the company was based in Portland, Oregon, even though no such company existed at that moment. Nonetheless, Knight's proposition worked. In 1963, Phil Knight received his first shipment of 12 pairs of Tiger shoes. Initially, he sold the shoes out of the trunk of his car, attending sports events and track meets. Sales were slow, and Knight soon realized that he needed a partner who could help him scale the business and improve the quality of the shoes. That's when his former track coach at the University of Oregon, Bill Bowerman, entered the picture. Bill Bowerman was one of the most successful and respected track and field coaches in America at the time. But he wasn't just a coach. Bowerman was an innovator. He believed that improving running shoes could help athletes perform better, and he constantly tweaked the design of his athletes' shoes, trying to make them lighter, more comfortable, and better suited for running. When Phil Knight approached Bowerman for his opinion on the Tiger shoes, Bowerman was not only impressed, but also offered to become Knight's business partner. With $500 invested from each of them, they founded Blue Ribbon Sports in 1964. Bowerman wasn't just a coach, but also an inventor. One of his most famous inventions was the waffle sole, which was inspired by a breakfast morning when he saw the grooves in his wife's waffle maker. He realized that this pattern could create a sole with better traction for runners. In the early years, Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman worked tirelessly to build their brand. Initially, they imported and distributed Onitsuka Tiger shoes in the U.S., but with Bowerman's relentless innovation, Blue Ribbon Sports began to develop its own shoe models. One of their first major successes was the Cortez, which launched in 1968. This revolutionary running shoe offered superior cushioning and foot support. The Cortez became not only a popular running shoe, but also a cultural icon in the 1970s. Following the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, the Cortez helped solidify Blue Ribbon Sports' reputation. However, the relationship between Blue Ribbon Sports and Onitsuka Tiger began to sour. Onitsuka Tiger struggled to meet the growing demand for shoes, and tensions grew between the two companies. In 1971, with the distribution contract with Onitsuka Tiger coming to an end, Phil Knight decided it was time for Blue Ribbon Sports to start producing its own shoes, and so the brand Nike was born. The name Nike was suggested by the company's first employee, Jeff Johnson, who was inspired by the Greek goddess of victory. Phil Knight agreed with the name because it was short, easy to remember, and carried positive connotations. With the name decided, the company needed a logo. Knight hired Carolyn Davidson, a graphic design student, to create the Nike logo. For a modest payment of $35, Davidson came up with the swoosh, a simple yet dynamic curve that symbolized speed and movement. While Knight wasn't initially wowed by the design, he decided to use it, and over time it became one of the most recognizable logos in history. In 1971, Nike officially released its first self-designed shoe, the Nike Cortez, based on Bowerman's innovations. This shoe didn't just perform well on the track but also became a fashion statement. With the Nike Cortez, the company began to establish itself as a leading sportswear brand. One of the most significant turning points in Nike's history was signing a young and promising basketball star in 1984, Michael Jordan. At the time, Jordan had just left the University of North Carolina and hadn't yet played a single NBA game. Most of the big sportswear companies overlooked Jordan, except for Nike. Nike not only signed Jordan, but also decided to develop an entire line of shoes dedicated to him. The first shoe in the line, the Air Jordan 1, launched in 1985 and quickly became a sensation. With its bold design and striking colorway red, black, and white, reflecting the Chicago Bulls team colors, the Air Jordan 1 was unlike anything else on the market. However, the NBA banned the shoe from games because it violated the league's uniform rules on color. Nike cleverly capitalized on this controversy, paying Jordan's fines and using the banned label as a marketing tool. They encouraged consumers to buy the shoe that was too rebellious for the NBA. This strategy turned the Air Jordan 1 into a cultural phenomenon, and sales skyrocketed. The Air Jordan brand didn't just stay on the basketball court. It became a massive cultural symbol throughout the 1980s and 1990s. The Air Jordan line brought billions of dollars in revenue to Nike and elevated the brand to new heights. Michael Jordan became not only one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but also the perfect embodiment of Nike's innovative and competitive spirit. With the success of the Air Jordan line, Nike began expanding its reach globally. The company didn't limit itself to basketball. It moved into other sports like soccer, tennis, golf, and fitness. Nike signed deals with top athletes around the world, including Cristiano Ronaldo, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, and LeBron James, transforming these stars into global ambassadors for the brand. Nike also diversified its product lines, producing not only athletic footwear but also clothing, accessories, and sports equipment. The brand's products catered not only to professional athletes but also to everyday consumers, from running shoes to gym apparel. In 1988, Nike launched one of the most iconic advertising campaigns in history, "Just Do It." The slogan wasn't just a tagline, it became a motivational message for millions of people around the world. Nike encouraged everyone, not just athletes, to push beyond their limits and take action to achieve their goals. This campaign cemented Nike's position as a leading brand in sports and fashion. Nike's advertisements, featuring famous athletes and inspirational stories, always left a strong impression on consumers. The Just Do It campaign has since become one of the most recognized and enduring slogans in advertising history. Despite its immense success, Nike faced several challenges and controversies along the way. One of the biggest controversies was the child labor scandal in its Asian factories during the late 1990s. Human rights organizations criticized Nike for poor working conditions and low wages in its overseas factories. Under intense public pressure, Nike had to change its business practices. The company committed to improving working conditions in its supply chain and increasing transparency. While these controversies damaged Nike's image at the time, the brand learned from its mistakes and continued to grow stronger. Entering the 21st century, Nike continues to assert its position as a world-leading brand in sports and fashion. The brand is known not only for its high-quality products, but also for its ability to innovate constantly. Nike recently experienced one of its most challenging quarters since the late 1990s. A revenue decline in Q1 placed Nike in a difficult position. To cut costs, the company decided to reduce its workforce by 2% and set a plan to save $2 billion. This was a necessary move, but will it be enough to help Nike overcome these challenges? In 2020, John Donahoe, a leader with a background in technology, replaced Mark Parker as Nike's CEO. Under Donahoe's leadership, Nike shifted its focus to direct-to-consumer (DTC) channels and e-commerce. By 2020, revenue from digital channels had reached 30%, exceeding the set target by 3 years. However, Nike made a critical misstep. As stores reopened, demand for in-store shopping increased, but Nike had already cut ties with many retail partners. This led to a surge in inventory, reaching a record nearly $10 billion, causing the company's stock to drop significantly. Recognizing the mistake, Nike began to restore its relationships with wholesale partners. This was an important step, though not a complete solution. Competition hasn't lessened. New brands like Hoka, with its thick-soled designs, or New Balance and Adidas with retro-style sneakers, are capturing the market. To maintain its position, Nike must focus on breakthrough products. Nike is betting on innovation to overcome these challenges. The brand has introduced numerous advanced technologies from Nike Air to Flyknit, enhancing athletes' performance. Additionally, Nike has invested in eco-friendly technologies, with products made from recycled materials and sustainable manufacturing processes. The brand also commits to giving back to the community through charitable programs and social initiatives. Today, Nike is not just a sports brand but a symbol of creativity, perseverance, and ambition. With annual revenues in the tens of billions of dollars, Nike shows no signs of slowing down. The brand's influence extends far beyond sports, reaching into fashion, pop culture, and global social movements. With its continuous focus on innovation and its commitment to improving the world through sports, Nike is poised to remain a leader not only in the athletic world but also as one of the most influential brands globally.